Rotus, it's been a while. Am I the August? Do I look like the August visitor you were told was going to come forward? Or you were expecting?
I was a bit surprised, but you are a veteran. You are part of the Smooth family. You've been doing this for years, so no surprises. And
Okay.
Omas is in the driver's seat.
All right, Rotus. So let's get started this morning. Let's begin from the president's broadcast last night. It was probably like a 20-minute broadcast, and from that, we'll get into the discussion and simply looking at the announcement of a 500 billion naira palliative, or probably, if you like, stimulus, whatever they want to call it right now. But they say do not judge a book by its cover. But I'm tempted for us to begin this conversation by going first to the title of the president's broadcast last night: After Darkness Comes the Glorious Dawn. Please help us unpack that, and then go in now.
Omas, that title sounds like a shot at the Buhari administration. And, it's been the president, of course, President Tinubu cannot openly come out and criticize President Buhari because he campaigned for him and he told Nigerians to vote for him and he supported him. But if he's saying that there's been darkness before his administration came into office, then who was in charge of that darkness for Nigerians? So he's essentially saying that the last administration plunged the country into darkness, which of course is his political party because they're in the same party. And now he has solutions that he wants to put forward in order to pull the country out of darkness. And he titled it like that because he sympathized with Nigerians, saying that, listen, I know that these things are tough, but I have to tell you, my favorite part of that speech was when he said, I don't have any other choice. There's nothing else I can do. This is the only choice that I had to make. If I had another choice or another path to take, I would have taken it. And for me, as speaking as a citizen and not even speaking as a business analyst, I am a realist. I've been telling people that this administration has been backed into a corner. They basically are in a hole that was dug even deeper by the last administration. So imagine if Zibi broke the chair that you are sitting in now before you came in. Where will you sit down? You can only deal with what the last person that was in charge left for you, right? So you have to. So I can't Obas who broke the chair. No, I didn't break the chair. The last person who hosted the show broke the chair. I have to sit down and deal with what is left of the chair to do my job as the host of the breakfast show. So these are the kind of things that people need. And the thing is that I wish because of political reasons, he can't do it. But I wish he would come out with force and say, listen, this is where we are. But he can't. He has to just maneuver his way around it with style. So that title is a reference to the last administration. There's no other way to do it. And when you look at, anyway, go right ahead.
Okay, so this brings me to the next discussion. Before we go in there, he also talked about how he wasn't going to go about talking about economic jargons, just like you alluded to also. Said, I won't pretend is that frankness or just because it's been boxed into a corner?
That was my second favorite part of the speech. Yeah. And I didn't even take offense as somebody who likes to use economic jargon, right? As a citizen, he wanted to talk directly to Nigerians. And I enjoy doing that because I like, hey, listen, economics and business is not magic. Let's no need to try and be fancy and use big language for people. Come down to the grassroots, speak in plain English, explain everything in plain terms to people so they understand you. So I thought it was a very frank, honest speech that just told people, look, this is the problems we are in, and I'm sorry, I wish I had another choice, but this is what we have to do in order to rescue the country from the situation it presently is in.
Well, let's remind the listener that they can be part of this conversation also by sending us WhatsApp messages on 0809-444-0981. The number once again is 0809-444-0981. Rotus, done with the highlights for you in the speech. Now, as a realist, let's get into what did you make of the economic package that was rolled out in that broadcast last night?
They were ambitious, Omas. They were ambitious. So one particular one that sticks out is that he says that they're going to get, let me quote here, to strengthen the manufacturing sector, increase its capacity to expand and create good paying jobs, we're going to spend 75 billion naira between July of this year and March of next year. Our objective is to fund 75 enterprises with great potential to kickstart a sustainable economic growth, accelerate structural transformation, and improve productivity. Each of these 75 manufacturing enterprises will be able to access 1 billion naira credits at 9% per annum with a maximum of 60 months, that's 5 years repayment for long-term loans and 12 months for locking capital. So the idea is we're going to give credit to these businesses. They will access it at a low interest rate. And if you go back to his inauguration speech where he said interest rates in Nigeria need to be lower, he really wants to get access to credits for businesses. Now, the thing is, that's a good idea because if you give them access to credit, the idea is that they will hopefully invest that money, hire people, and be able to increase their capacity to be productive. The question, though, is how do you pick those 75 enterprises? Who are the 75? To make this a credible thing and transparent thing, how do you pick which 75 in the manufacturing sector are going to get access to this money? And it speaks to a wider concern for the economy in that we need credits. Omas, if you go to South Africa, you can lease a car for however many years you want. You drive it, pay monthly, and then you can return the car as long as you don't damage it or get in an accident or anything. There's credit. I don't need to use America or UK. We can use South Africa. There is credit. So Nigerian businesses and Nigerian individuals need credits. I look at our mortgage sector. How many people can get a mortgage that lasts for a long enough time to give them enough time to pay back? Mortgages, you need credits. You need credit for that. You need it to be able to access money and access affordable loans. That is one of the challenges that SMEs, MSMEs face. So that is one of the initiatives that stuck out to me. The only issue is how will you select those 75 businesses? And then there's the issue of how you track to make sure that the initiative, where you're just basically giving money to sectors of the economy to hope that they improve productivity. And then one more thing is that you also have to look at the challenges that businesses in Nigeria are facing. Access to credit is one, but power is another. 30 to 40 to 50% of overhead costs for businesses in this country is power. There's no power. As I'm talking to you now, my power can go out and my screen will go blank. The same thing for you. So those are the main things.
You want me to, there's something very interesting that occurred last night while the broadcast was on. But for the transistor radio, which I would have somewhere charged, I would have missed out on the broadcast. So when the light went out in my apartment, I just raced to reach out to the transistor, and in darkness, I listened throughout till the broadcast was over. I just tried to let you see what happened. So he also talked about 1,300 nano businesses. Is this also, help us unbundle that also? Yeah,
that's NSMEs. That's the nano ones, the really tiny ones, the smaller business. It says out of the sum, we will spend 50 billion on a conditional grant to 1 million nano businesses between now and March 2024. Our target is to give 50,000 naira each to 1,300 nano business owners in each of the 774 local governments across the country. Now, a grant is different from a loan. A grant, you are giving out money, right? And so, they're targeting the entire 774 local government areas and going to target it. Again, how do you target which? You see, look, almost one of the challenges we have is that Nigeria is a very informal economy, right? So much of the businesses are not registered, they're not paying taxes, and there's such a large number of them. So whenever you announce these packages, the issue is that it doesn't go far enough. And because there's just so many, this is the reason why you need a lot more money to target them. So there has to be a way to track all these businesses, formalize them, because when they make money, the whole issue here is that you increase productivity, they pay taxes, they hire people, and that money now flows back to government, and government can now fund other welfare programs.
Now, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I'm just trying to, because for a man to even think about doing business, there must be food in his stomach. So I also want to look at what the president spoke to in regards to agriculture. I'd like you to speak to that, but let's just quickly see the messages that are piling in already. So I wouldn't want us to have a stockpile of them before we get into the.
Yes, go ahead.
Let's see what Cisco Delgado here says. I need grants for my business. I want to start production of ESS, that's energy storage system for solar power. That's according to, so you might just be in luck when this distribution starts. Cisco Delgado, keep listening. Rotus will keep you, is your plug for sure to follow up that money. Now, let's see what the next message here says. Benga Kamu, it goes on to say, intentions, and plans. Can they implement properly? Can maize grow in one day? They ought to have worked on these plans earlier, Benga Kamu goes on. Where are the plans for the unemployed in the plans announced yesterday by the president, Benga Kamu? Can you strengthen the manufacturing sector without electricity? As if you took the words out of Rotus' mouth when it just, it mentioned that already. So we thank you so much, Benga Kamu. I see one more person up there. I've seen Austin from Satellite Town. He says, about the president broadcast last night, he said he will make sure that there will be all-year farming. I think that what Nigerian farmers need is to be secured in their farms. Insecurity is the worst thing that have happened to farmers. Let those killing the farmers stop, then there will be plenty of food. So that speaks to the question before we got into the messages. So take it up from there.
Yeah, so again, Benga is spot on. Electricity is needed. The issue is that don't forget, the president has signed an electricity act that allows for the states to be able to generate, transmit, and distribute their own electricity. So everybody will do their own thing individually. You saw Femi Otedola, the billionaire who is the chair of Geregu Power, or the only electricity company listed on the stock exchange, in a picture with Governor Sanwo-Olu. By the way, Sanwo-Olu announced the palliative yesterday. There's so much, we don't have time. And then he was with a picture with Sanwo-Olu and the president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, who was in the Jonathan administration as agricultural minister. They've already started. So Geregu is now working with Lagos State to see how they can get. So the issue though is that is going to take a long time. The power to get us to 24/7 power is going to take, so that is a long-term goal. In the short term, as you have said, Omas, how do you put food in people's stomachs? How do you support businesses? It has to be a bridge from here to where we get to for this to work.
Okay, so that also takes us to some more messages. They're just raining in.
Go ahead. Just read. Go ahead, read.
It says, this guy here says, Tayo says, my own is transport. How do I explain to Danfo that transport fare is now 50% to 75% according to the government? Next, I see Yinka Bolu here.
Let me quickly answer that. I know there's so many messages. Let me quickly answer that one. So Governor Sanwo-Olu said that it is only the buses that are controlled by LAMATA, that is the Lagos Metropolitan Area Transport Authority. So you see, again, Omas, this is a challenge. This transport challenge is a challenge of volume because there are so many buses that are outside, I believe, the control of LAMATA. The Danfo is talking about, I don't know if they are in that pool, but it's only LAMATA buses that will apply for the 50%. Another thing, this is supposed to be for Lagosians who are struggling. If Rotus enters a bus, I have my own car. Omas, you can afford to not use transport. How do you stop Omas from taking advantage of that 50%? Yinka does well for himself. Yinka is in the oil and gas. If Yinka takes a bus tomorrow or today, Yinka should not be paying 50%, or Benga Kamu. Everybody that's listening to us are people who are doing well for them. So how do you work out who gets the 50%? How do you identify them? These are all the challenges on us. But that's what Lagos State has announced.
Well, Rotus, we're out of time, but it seemed like not everybody would agree with you that everybody listening to us right now, they can, they don't need a palliative. I need palliative. If you don't need, I do need.
Omas, you're a big man. Omas, you're a big man. You don't need palliative.
Okay, well, this is where we wrap it up on the show Business Express with Rotus. Oddiri. Rotus, we want to say thank you so much for all you do. We appreciate you greatly.
Thanks. Thank you. See you guys tomorrow, Omas. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. I will say thank you to all those who sent in messages. Alex, I see your message. Cisco Delgado, Tayo, Yinka Bolu, Benga Kamu, Austin. I see all of you. Thank you so much. Make it a date tomorrow.